This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today, we will be reviewing a Chanel bag, hiding and living in its little white pouch. This is how I keep it protected, safe from scratches and the world outside, the evil, nasty world outside. Here is the crocodile, like Coco Chanel crocodile. It is a fake croc. This is not crocodile. Paris/New York/Egypt Metiers 2019 collection seasonal piece. This is a mini rectangular in leather. Fake croc called the Crocodile. It is our crocodile, and it is Karl Lagerfeld's last Metiers collection. It is also Karl Lagerfeld's swan song, if you may. It's a collection dedicated to trying to find eternal life and a meaning of life beyond death. He was aware that he was going to pass away soon, so I do firmly believe that this collection, in his mind and in his vision, has been directly proportionate to his thoughts of leaving life on earth and moving on, or also maybe fear of what happens, what to encounter after life on this planet is over. And yes, all of that is in this collection. As superficial as fashion can be considered being, there still are sometimes, from time to time, people and creative minds that do pour soul into whatever they design, and not just calculation of how much money they can earn from it. A lot of times, not a lot of times, unfortunately, there should be more times, but sometimes we do get artistry within fashion, more than just figuring out how to earn a quick buck. And this was the case in general with the entire collection of the Chanel Metiers d'Art Paris/New York/Egypt, which we have seen the runway of at the Met, Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. And it was also Karl Lagerfeld's last fashion show where he actually stepped out on the catwalk on the runway to bow down and say thank you at the end of the show. Before I get to the detailed review of this bag, I would like to thank all my patrons and members for supporting the channel. You can also join today and become a member yourself, or join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together. But you can also do the bare minimum, which is super essential to keep surviving on YouTube. That is subscribing to my channel. You can subscribe now and help the channel grow. On Patreon, I'm superdacob all spelled together, in case you wish to see videos that are not available on YouTube. Exclusives. Exclusives are also available on the member platform on YouTube. I would also like to thank my chat members who are live in the chat right now and who are watching me review this bag and who are hopefully going to comment on it and co-review it with me. I'm just now noticing, I didn't think about this bag combined with this jacket, but they just harmonize so well together. From the same collection, I also have the earring. This is a scarab, a golden scarab earring. It's a clip-on earring with hidden hieroglyphic symbols and messages behind the earring. Made by Goussons for Chanel in 2019. The bag reflects light like nothing else. I have never seen a Chanel bag this golden. Karl Lagerfeld has made many Chanel bags in his career, has designed many of them, many colorways, patterns, materials. He is famous for giving the Chanel Timeless Classic a Timeless Classic lock, or the double C lock. So kind of his way of going out, he went out with a bang. Because the last memorable, you know, this one, by the way, this is a rectangular mini, but the same material was also used for a Timeless Classic medium size. So double flap of this material exists as well. So it is the last Chanel classic bag that Karl created. He gave it the gold touch. He gave it the fake crocodile. Why fake crocodile? Because 2019 was the season, the Metiers d'Art collection was the season when Chanel decided that they will not use any more endangered / reptile skins, or exotic skins for that matter, in their collections ever again from 2019 on. So to commemorate that, they have created a very special process how to emboss leather and give it the crocodile look, because usually crocodile never really looks like crocodile. This is supposed to come looking as close as possible to crocodile. It still doesn't look like crocodile as much as it could, but it is three-dimensional. It really has the texture of it, at least. And it was kind of like an homage to say, here, we can find other ways to pay tribute to the beauty of certain skins of these animals without actually killing these animals. Now, of course, a cow lost its life for this bag because this is a leather nevertheless, but it's not a leather used from an exotic animal that's an endangered species or what have you. Now, of course, you're going to have the people out there that are vegans or protective of animals are going to say, don't buy a bag that's made in leather in general. Here, opinions differ, morals differ as well. It's a slippery slope to fall into the debate, what we eat and what we wear. So I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to review this for the beauty that it is, for the message that Carl wanted to convey through this collection. I'm going to review it also through the eyes of somebody who treasures it for what it is, which is, I treasure it as an art object, really, because when this bag hit the runway, and on the runway, mind you, you only get to see the medium-sized double flap. So when I saw it on the runway, I immediately thought, wow, this looks incredible. Probably not going to be able to afford it. I wonder if they are ever going to consider making a mini. Because this thing is so big, the gold is so overpowering that when the bags actually hit the stores, and I was in Paris when this collection hit the stores, so I was in Paris on June 4th, 2019. I went to Rue CAMBON, I saw this bag there. It was the first day it was launched. I also saw the double flap medium. Now the double flap medium, as beautiful as it is, it's almost too big for this amount of gold, because it's so important in its presence that when the bag itself becomes bigger, it kind of loses its place within the proportions of your body, because it absorbs so much light. You become invisible completely. Already this is very big, but I think it's just borderline. Any bigger than this and it becomes redundant because it's like light. Literally, look how it reflects light, you guys. It's literally like having sunshine. And I'm telling you, this is what you see is exactly how it is in real life. No other Chanel bag in history of Chanel bags has had this gold, the like 24 karat type of yellow gold utilized. And I always say when I talk about gold, now I have red light coming from the back, so you can see it reflecting off a red, then it flips, and then it goes to the white lights, and then kind of to the shadow, and then more here. So what is fascinating, when I talk about gold, I say, you know, gold, when it's pure gold like this, it has a very fascinating nature. It can either reflect light to a degree where it turns into light itself. You don't see the lines, the structure of it anymore. It just becomes light, white, like a white stain in the picture. Or it turns into a black hole and it absorbs light completely and it turns black. And in fact, there is, you see, look at the darkness. Look how it just disappears. And then when it reflects light, it's like overwhelming. Gold has this tendency of reflecting all light and absorbing all light at the same time. That's the fascination of gold, because it represents everything. It represents opulence and abundance, but it also represents emptiness and the void. It's a very, very fascinating material. It has a beauty. It's literally the sun. Look at this. Again, if you haven't seen already, you could check out I'm going to post a link in the description box above this video, but also in the comment section down below, in the description box down below, in the card section up here, and in the description box down below, the link to my, also from the same collection, the Metiers Paris, New York, Egypt collection, the review of the tweed, the Egyptian tweed mini. Similar to that video, I'm in awe again now when I'm seeing it on my control monitor. It's just has this it's mesmerizing. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, let's come in close. It's just that mesmerizing. Wait, it's a little bit pressed it on one side. But I mean, look at that. It's insane. Now, these samples used for the runway and also used for the photos made of this bag for the Chanel website. You know, samples are not final products, but they photograph samples for their website because the samples are photographed 6 months ahead of time before the actual pieces go into production and are sent off to retail. So the final product is always slightly different. The difference, the biggest difference, and I think they made a good choice to change the leathers used. The samples, the leather of the samples on the chain, the intertwined chain here. You see how mattified it is? Also inside, we're going to get to the inside of the bag as well. You see this beautiful mattified gold leather? Okay, so this golden leather in the sample version that was photographed for the Chanel website, it was a lambskin. It wasn't patent, but it was a glossy leather. It was a very thin, glossy golden leather, shiny, not mattified, super delicate. Super delicate. So when I was seeing the pictures of the bag, I thought to myself, "Ooh, that leather." But then when I saw it in the boutiques, finally 6 months later, with the mattified, thicker leather, I thought, okay, somebody in the design team did their job correctly. They've updated it. They've switched the leather around so that they gave us a more robust leather. Thank goodness for that. Super happy about that. This bag is very delicate because of the nature of this new material that they utilize, the way of embossing, the way of pressing in shape, and creating this semi-patent finish to the leather meant that it was an experiment. It was a new form of craftsmanship. So the roundness of this leather here is very delicate. If you open and close this bag a lot, you might get cracks there. And this is unfortunately another one of the reasons why I'm happy I didn't get the bigger version. A lot of people who have purchased the double flap, this golden one in double flap, medium size, are experiencing breaks on the sides. So that is not good. But again, it is an experimental material. It is new for Chanel standards. They have tested it out. It is very delicate. It's thick and heavy, but the coating that they used on it can cause it to break easily. So you have to be very, very careful with this beautiful little bag. I mean, and again, it's not as delicate as the tweed that I showed you last week, but it is nevertheless a very, very delicate bag. And you have to, you know, especially when you're opening it like this, when you're lifting the lid, the flap, this is where it can have a lot of stress because you're bending it open and then you're letting it fall again and then you're bending it up. So doing this a lot, the bag doesn't like that. So here we have it, a Chanel mini that, yet another Chanel mini that should be used for special occasions. I mean, gold should be used for special occasions, I think, when you really have a moment in time that you want to commemorate. That's why I love to wear my golden earrings always, because I love to commemorate these moments of live streams with you guys, because I love to have the gold just makes everything more precious in that moment in time. So this bag, I did wear it out and about several times, unlike the tweed bag, that to me is an object that I really treasure and take care of meticulously. This one can be worn, and I did wear it several times, and it is very user-friendly because it doesn't stain easily. So like, let's say you drip a little, if you're drinking a wine or something at a gallery opening, a little bit drips, you just dry it off immediately and it's gone. The leather doesn't absorb it. If you let the liquid stay on it for longer, it might affect the coating. So, but it doesn't stain immediately like a tweed bag would stain, or like a jersey bag would stain, or like a lambskin delicate light color would stain. This one is very, very user-friendly when it comes to stains and color transfer. almost nothing rubs onto this in the back. I would still not recommend using red colors. Red shows really badly on gold. Black doesn't show much on gold because obviously, as I said, gold in itself has black and white. So black doesn't rub off of gold, which is really fascinating. So there's not a lot of color transfer that can happen if you're wearing black clothes and this bag on top. The bag was made in France, I can show you the inside of it now. So I keep the microfiber glove in there and I put the chain inside of it. So we pull it out like this. And then we have the chain, which we then let fall out. It's a long chain. This one can easily be worn cross-body. And then also what I have inside is the tissue paper, which I'm going to take out for the sake of this review. And yes, I have my desiccants. I have 3 desiccants in this little, or 2. I see 2, but I think I have 3. So we have the golden leather, and then this is interesting. Unlike the tweed bag, which then the interior has that scarab beetle color gold green leather, this one turns to black on the inside. So it doesn't continue gold on the inside, but after the flap is done, we have the black interior leather. And then we have the golden Chanel made in France here, which is always so hard to see. It's right there. But with this angle and this light, you can never really see it. And I don't want to bend the bag too much to catch the light. But in the unboxing of the bag, the angle was different. I had a different spotlight. So in the unboxing of the bag, you can see the made in France. Yeah, it's there. It's just impossible with this lighting. It doesn't matter. So it's made in France. We do have one zipper pocket inside and one other. Both pockets are here. The zip pocket is right there, and the other little flap pocket is here. Not flap pocket, but just like a slit pocket. And of course, we have the Mona Lisa smile in the back, which is right here. Also, this one with interior black leather here. Let me close it. It's so hard to review these bags because of the way the light. Okay. So the entire back side of this bag is one piece of leather, and then they've sewn on top the pocket. So it's not in some cases, some bags, not Chanel bags, not the Chanel minis, but other brands that do similar size bags, you would have a cut in the leather over here on this flap, on this back side, and this crocodile imitation would end here. And then there would be a fabric there, but not with Chanel. With Chanel, you have the continuation of the leather all the way to the bottom of the pocket. So this Coco dial, the Coco Chanel dial, goes all the way to the bottom. And the pocket has a black leather, there you have it, to cover the inside, and then the outside is the crocodile again. They have tried to align as much as they could the shape of the crocodile so that the pocket aligns with the back side, the back panel of the bag. And they did a pretty good job. It does feel like it's organically flowing from the pocket over to the sides of the bag. It is the most structured of Chanel minis that I have ever had in my hand. It literally almost feels like a tank. It's very, very boxy. It's not soft. I have had Chanel bags, minis that feel much softer. For example, the lambskin leather rectangular mini, which I also have silver hardware, is a much softer bag than this one. And I will be reviewing that one as well. If by the time I have reviewed it, you are watching this video, I will post the link in the description box up above or in the comment section in the description box down below. But this one really feels substantial and it's not going to lose its shape. Just don't overstuff it. This is not a bag that wants to be overstuffed. This is not a bag that... It doesn't like a lot of pressure. It just doesn't. It's very boxy and it's kind of hard to bend it. So you always have to be careful. Like for example, now I'm trying to close it properly so that the chain doesn't scratch. Yeah, it's hard. You see, like on this side now. I'm trying to pull out the chain properly. It's super hard. Okay, so you have to always be careful that you pull the chain completely out so that here you don't have any clogging of the chain. The chain can easily flip, and then you have like too much metal pushing onto the leather up here, which would cause a dent in your leather. Same applies to this side. So when we open the bag, you see how the chain is attached here to the bag? And there's a kind of like a ring, like a D-ring holding it in place. There you see the ring. Right there. So when we're to close the bag, we always have to be sure to pull it out, to pull all the leather out, because otherwise some of it can stay in. Like this. And then when you close it and you pull, the metal kind of presses into this very delicate leather here, because this is all leather on the inside. So you got to be very careful when you close this bag that the chain always aligns properly. Because it is relatively stiff in its construction, it doesn't flow as organically as I was mentioning before, the lambskin version of this bag. It's kind of more flexible, it moves more, so when you do close it, it kind of twists on its own. This one is a bit more stiff. It's the nature of this bag. It doesn't mean that it's lower quality, it just means that it has this characteristic. The leathers that they utilize and the materials are very hard. So yeah, you gotta always know exactly how you're closing it like this. Okay. Thinking if I can twist it to the other side. No. The hardware is gold, but even in this case, they opted for vintage finish. So it's not a glossy gold hardware. It has that patina, that mattified effect, which with time doesn't peel off, but it flattens. So as you're turning the double C, as you're turning this little lock, with time you're going to notice, I can show you, it gets a little bit of a flattening effect. It's so tiny you almost don't even really see it, but at the borders of the double C you don't really see it because it's that minimal, the use. But here you get to see a little bit at the inner border. It flattens out because you're turning that lock all the time to close it and open it. So with time, you're going to see use there. But use, where? It's normal. It's a special technique that they have to create this satiny finish. And of course, if you rub on one spot all the time, it's going to become glossy. That's basically what happens here. It becomes a little bit glossy on the spots where you turn the lock all the time, which is totally fine. I don't consider that a flaw at all. It's literally part of the bag. Yeah, what else is there to say? Let me read your comments. What are your thoughts? So shiny, shimmers so much, says David. Melly says, this bag is stunning. What a beautiful color, says David. Love that gold, says David. Shimmers so much, says David. Olfactive Story says, so shiny. Someone wearing that will stand out for sure. It's too reflective, says David, especially if it's in the bigger size. Olfactive Story says, should be really with an all-black outfit. I wore it with an all-black outfit to like a Chanel presentation. I think you can see it on my Instagram. It's beautiful with all black, but honestly, I'm really living for this 60s moment right now. Because this is like a Pantone late 60s print. It really works well with this kind of 60s moment, don't you think? Let's do a thumbnail. Let me do a thumbnail. Let me do, hold on a second. Let me see. You know, for the sake of it. Beautiful, says Aisha, crying. So, yeah, perfect size too, says Candy Fluff. It's really a good size for this color in particular. Now I will be reviewing the black rectangular, the mini black rectangular, so it's the same size, but you're going to notice proportion-wise it works differently because it reflects light differently. Even though it's the same size, it reflects light in a different way. Hence, the whole perception of this object changes. Nice. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Amelia says, goes with the outfit. I know, right? It's so amazing. I think also because these like orange hues, they have a little bit of gold in them. So Chanel stopped using exotic leather starting from 2017, says MK. Rob Rantoul says, adore your shirt. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. The cow was not only slaughtered for its skin, but also for its meat, says MK. Yes, for its meat and also for all the other properties that the cow has that are utilized later on. My hair is like stuck in the jacket. I have to pull it to the front. Sorry. It pulls, you know. That shine is unbelievable, says Designer Eye Bags. It's amazing, that shine. I'm telling you, the way gold reflects light in general is just incredible. I mean, look how it reflects. It's like black and light at the same time. Like now it's black, now it's light. It's amazing. Flamboyant, says David. Very flamboyant. It's bombastic. Audrey says, do you think that the color would be different if they had used crocodile skin? Maybe lots of different tones? No, because gold, so it's kind of hard to color something into gold, and the way that a crocodile or alligator skin for that matter reacts to gold, I don't think that it would have had more shades within itself. It depends how thick they would coat it with gold. You know what I mean? This is a very thick gold coat because, again, Lagerfeld really wanted these bags to look like they've been dipped into liquid gold and then taken out from the liquid gold. And this is like what came out. That's the effect that they're supposed. And it really works. This is exactly the effect. It wouldn't have worked on crocodile skin because I think crocodile skin cannot take so much pressure. It would break or get damaged. If you want to give it this almost like gold finger, you know, James Bond, like that crazy person who would like kill people by dipping them in gold. This is kind of that effect. Maybe another thumbnail. Susan Bailey says tacky. To some, yeah, I agree with you. It has a tacky about it, but as John Waters says, you know, it takes class to know how to do good bad taste. Amelia says it is not tacky at all. It looks antique. It looks antique too. Yeah, it looks antique too. Debbie says interesting. I have a crocodile with mink coat from the early 90s and it's tan in color. David says, love that the CC is also gold. It blends with the bag. Yeah, David, that's a really good point. Because this way, things disappear. You have to look for them. And this is, again, something that they did also with this little guy and with all their brooches, with the hiding of the hieroglyphics in the back of objects that only you, the wearer, can see. What they're trying to do conceptually here, and David, thank you so much for pointing this out. What a wonderful point you've made, because it made me think about it. Just like in ancient Egypt, they're digging out stuff. So today, if you're going to go research, if you're going to be an archaeologist, it's like so many secrets connected to Egyptian culture and ancient Egypt, and things have to be uncovered. They are hidden. They might be hanging out in plain sight, but they are hidden. And this is kind of what's going on here. That logo is hiding as if it were a part of a tomb of some Tutankhamun or somebody, and an element to decipher the meaning of some hieroglyphics is there, but it's invisible because it's blending in perfectly with the rest. So even in that respect, having the golden double C within the golden framework of the bag, it just works wonders because it gives you that notion of having to look for the detail to unlock the mystery of something. And what is this? It's a lock. And if you figure out how it works, it unlocks the mystery of this bag because it allows you to open the bag. Great point, David. Thank you so much for bringing that up because it really made me put two and two together. And that's exactly, visually speaking, it totally makes sense to me that things are kind of hiding in plain sight when it comes to Egyptology in that respect. Susan Bailey says, to me, it's too much. The tacky and it's too much. Okay, Susan, I got your message. Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? We can't all love golden things like this. How long is that chain? David asks. I don't have a little thing to measure here, but it's the standard length of all of their mini rectangulars. They all have the same length of chain. They all have the same length, but I don't have a little measure thing here. No, I don't think I do. I had it last week, but now I don't. But it falls really very well on the hip. And if you check out my Coco Chanel is in my house, all spelled together, Chanel profile on Instagram, there's a photo of me in one of the boutiques and I'm standing and you could see the bag is crossbody on the back and it falls right above my bum, just a little bit like on the hip. So it's a good size. It's a good size and it's actually perfect size to even, I mean, if you wanted to really go there, to wear it also as a necklace. Very hip hop to wear it as a necklace. It's long, it's almost too long to be a necklace, but it works. It works. If you're tall enough, obviously. That gold is gorgeous, says Melly. Thank you. Rich Mitch says, oh, shiny. And Jasmina Girl says, I see you have a special bag there. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I'm hypnotized when the bag reflects the light. It's insane, Melly. I'm too. I think the bag is so sexy, says Yasmina. Thanks. David asks, would that gold lacquer peel off? That's a good question. You know, it doesn't feel like lacquer. By the way, the smell is divine. This is the smell of old school Chanel bags. It rarely happens that I still smell this 90s Chanel bag smell. This one has it. Oh my God, it's so delicious. And let's do a little bit of ASMR with the sound of the leather against the leather when you press it. The chain. The sounds of a golden Chanel Egyptian bag. Aisha says, you could name the bag Cleopatra. It is an absolute queen, just gorgeous. Oh, that is a beautiful name for this little bag, isn't it? Oh my God, it reflects. I'm mesmerized every time it reflects like, huh? Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Patrick says, imagine if we all like the same thing. We'd all be a field of cookie cutter vanilla blandness. I love the vintage tacky appeal, my aesthetic. You guys, that's what's the beautiful thing also about the fashion bunker. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some people in the future watching this video saying, what the hell is he wearing? This is so tacky. Some people are going to know that this is actually a Werner Panton print. Some people are not. Some people won't even care. You know, it's to each their own. Like, there's history in certain pieces, but sure, history doesn't mean that we have to like something. Just because something has a historic connotation, and it's just because thought went into it, just because somebody really put an effort to produce something with thought, doesn't mean that you gotta like it. Tastes are tastes. They're all different. I love to eat strawberries and watermelon. I'm not a huge fan of certain cheeses, but I know some other people hate watermelon but love all sort of cheeses. Like, it's, you know what I mean, you guys? It's all good. But Patrick says, I personally think the loudness of the bag works in its favor, maximalism to its finest. Thank you, Patrick. That's a really good point. And also, you know, this is the review of the bag that I love. Of course I'm going to be biased to it because I love it. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't love it. So of course I'm going to tell you stuff about this bag that makes me happy about it. But I've been honest enough to tell you they're very delicate. They can crack easily. I don't think that this has that, like David mentioned, this lacquered, it's going to chip or peel off. No, it might crack. It might crack on the sides if you bend it too much, and if you dry it out, if you keep it in heat too long and then put it into cold environments, warm environments too often, it could crack because it is a delicate bag. But this bag was made to be a special piece, you know? So yes, it's delicate for a reason. And I'm not the person who's going to say about this particular type of bag, it costs so much, so it better last me a lifetime. There are bags that where I say that, but not with a little art object like this one. This is a different concept altogether. This is a concept of heritage, tradition, buying something for the sake of the love of the history that it tells you, and owning a piece of Chanel history, especially because it's Karl Lagerfeld's swan song on top of that. So I love it for all of those levels that I mentioned in this video. But I am very well aware that a lot of people out there really do not like, in general, anything that has to do with gold, and that might consider a bag like this to be super tacky. But that's also okay. And it's okay to also say it, because it just means that you're not afraid of having an opinion. You know what I mean? Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been my honor to read your comments in the comment section down below. Olfactive Story says, this bag is a beautiful piece. It can be anything depending on what you wear with it. Olfactive Stories, what a beautiful way to end this video, because what you said is so true. It's the chameleontic, or the chameleon aspect of this bag. It can be whatever you want it to be depending on what you wear it with. It is that chameleontic. It transforms with you. As Karl transformed. After he passed away, he moved on to something else. And that's why he wanted so much gold in his last collection. He wanted freedom, liberation, to move on to a next height, to be everything, to turn into light. And this bag, to me, every time I see it, when it reflects light so intensely, I have the feeling it's Karl shining. That's literally the emotion that it gives me. Thank you so much. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Oh, and follow me on Instagram. Coco Chanel is in my house, all spelled together. Coco Chanel Privé all together. Super Dacob all spelled together, and Super Dacob all spelled together also on Patreon. Or become a member today and subscribe to my channel. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.